I'm gonna call this Locksmith Tales, and basically what it is these are fun and unusual encounters that I have encountered out in the field with different locking mechanisms, and they're not something that you're gonna learn in a school or textbook type of setting because they're just odd. This right here is a mortise body lock. It's meant to go on, your thicker than average doors. I mean, you can use it on a regular thickness door too, but a lot of times the doors here are thicker, they're custom, and they're thicker than standard hardware will fit on. So they use these mortise units to go ahead and go in there, and then your really nice fancy Rocky Mountain hardware, or this one here is Accurate Stanford hardware, will go on the outside. Very decorative, very architectural, and very neat. However, when they start to have problems, like this one, when I came up to this lock, it had the hardware on the outside, and that was facing like that. So obviously something has gone horribly wrong here. For the key cylinder to be halfway out, basically they put the key in and went to open the door, and it just completely jammed and locked up. Now, here's why this causes so many problems. Is because on the inside of the door, you're going to have hardware, and the only access that you're going to have to this lock is here and here, because the thumb turn would go here. So this would be completely blocked off. You would have absolutely no access to that. And the problem with this is that now this has become jammed, and the key won't even go in, or it's not the right bitting anymore, because some of the pins have fallen out and landed in other chambers inside here. So this is a very odd and difficult situation to deal with. What happened is the tailpiece, which goes on the back of the lock here, actually the screws came loose and the tailpiece fell off like so, only it did so into here, into the linkage in here, like so, and wedged itself to the point where everything was jammed. So the first plan of attack was to try and get that lock cylinder out. Well, the screw in the back, along with the pins being in the wrong chamber, has prevented anything from happening with that, with the key. And even if we could get that picked out of there, it's still not going to do us that much good because we don't know exactly what's going on in here. So we actually got all the way to this point, and from the back side drilled an access hole into here to where I could then find out and see exactly what the problem was and try and manipulate the lever back, like so. However, the tailpiece was so wedged down into this inner linkage in here that I could not take a pick like this and actuate anything. It was 100% completely wedged down in there to the point where it was jammed, and with this small access hole and the door being shut and locked, dead bolted by the way, I would have no access to any of the releasing set screws in here. So this caused quite a problem. I probably messed around with this thing for a good half an hour, 45 minutes, trying to, I knew if I could get something in here, then I could get this to actuate, and I could get this to release, and then go ahead and open the door. But the way it was set up, that was impossible. This was completely blocked off and jammed by this little piece that I literally had to take this piece apart to pull out of after this all came out of here. So what we ended up doing actually is, let's see if I can get that to come out again. Probably not. Is actually having to cut the deadbolt in half, and that's what we had to do. So basically I had to cut this deadbolt in half because that was not releasing at all, And at that point in time, I could then manipulate that latch back to at least open the door so where I could actually start pulling this stuff apart and get the cover plate off and pull this stuff out of here and start rebuilding this setup. So that's just something you're not going to see in a classroom setting. You can see the screws wedged in there, and all these pins have gone into separate chambers, and all sorts of bad things have happened here. So now what I can try and do is get in here and pick this thing open and begin rebuilding the entire system. You can see it caused some damage. There's some scarring and marring back there. But what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to pick this lock open, I'll be able to turn it over, pull it out, just completely 100% rebuild it, put this system back together, and then I've already ordered one of these new units and put this back in the door. I've put a separate locking cylinder in there. Just because we ordered everything new, we might as well just replace that too. But that was one of the more time-consuming, difficult encounters out in the field that you just may not see in your everyday occurrences. That can happen with storefront doors too. Tailpieces come loose all the time. Usually they just fall right down, and you have access from the inside with a thumb turn or another key to be able to go ahead and open that. This one provided absolutely no access whatsoever to that reverse side, simply due to the thumb mount, the thumb turn from the inside. So just fun, entertaining stuff to think about when you walk up to a project. You got to really think outside the box, because once things go that wrong, there's not really a conventional solution to the problem. You just need to come up with one on your own, on the fly. So for more information, check out the website below, and take it easy. Have a good day.